out there, of course, but really the market drives it. So if you could pick something that's packed in a bunch of styrofoam versus something that's not, making that choice really sends a message up the stream. We used to get a lot of customers come to us and they wanted us to produce something very clean and very white that looked like plastic. And there's a way we can do that. It's expensive and it's time consuming. So 10 years ago, that was the case with everything that came to us, all new prospects, and we would lose them because we'd say, well, we're really gonna tell you that we're kind of Henry Ford approach on color. You can have any color you want as long as it's the color we supply. You know, you can have any car you want as long as it's black, right? Now they're coming to us and saying, we want it to look recycled. We want it to look brown. We want it to look gray, like newsprint gray, because that has it's received on the customer end as environmentally sustainable and responsible. We do mostly packaging, but there are a couple other things we've done. If anybody's a fly fisherman, Maria knows this story. We were able to come up with a molded paper, a molded fiber spool for fly line. So if it falls out of your pack when you're out fishing, it would just degrade in the stream rather than being a plastic floating item that stays in the water forever. We also make our own pallets, by the way. So we buy mostly wood pallets for our customers that need them, you know, a standard 40 by 48 wood pallet. But we mold fiber feet, and then we buy corrugate top and bottom, glue them together with the water-based glue, so that when we're done with it, we can just repulp it and it becomes our product again. It's a pretty cool solution.
Excellent. All right. Well,
So several years ago, if you walk through our facility, our guys weren't recycling cans and bottles. We had no blue bins, we had no marked bins. So we were a recycling business, a business that recycles paper of all types, but we weren't doing it ourselves. We had no real initiatives looking at how we made our product. Is there a more responsible way? Can we, oh, by the way, save some money on energy, that sort of stuff. So over the last several years, we've spent a lot of time and energy on that, if you'll pardon the pun. So we've had some in-house initiatives. We've cut our waste output significantly. I came from the aerospace manufacturing business, and when you scrap a part in aerospace, sometimes you've scrapped a $50,000 casting. So scrap rates are a real problem in that business. And I started an EnviroPAK, and one of the first funny things I found was if we mess up a part, if we have a part that has a hole in it, it just goes back in the other end of the system. So our scrap recycling is immediate. It's fantastic. So we've taken on some initiatives to try and save energy using a whole host of sources. Doug and the Missouri State guys have come out and done a pollution prevention analysis for us. Came up with a number of great suggestions. If you haven't used that resource and you're in manufacturing in this state, I highly recommend it. It costs you $0 and gives you great ideas. Just they're looking at our compressed air systems will save us about $8,000 or $9,000 a year, which is significant for a small business like us. They've also helped with some other things, but we've been able to bring our natural gas spend down significantly on a per therm basis, therms per cycles basis. We're down 9%. So we're making more product using less natural gas, just with some basic things, insulation around our dryers. Some product improvement, production improvement initiatives have helped. So the message for me is just making a slight cultural change, starting to talk to your people about what they recycle, how they do it, how you use energy. We used to fire our dryers up and then take a half hour getting ready to start production. We now get ready to start production, then fire our dryers up. saves 15 or 20 minutes worth of natural gas burn, which, you know, converts to a couple of dollars every day, every shift. So that stuff adds up. So a whole host of things. We have a rainwater capture project underway that, again, Doug and the Missouri State guys may be able to help us with. So we're not buying water from the city. We're actually capturing rainwater, using it as processed water. I mean, the list is endless. You can always do more. So EPR is extended producer responsibility. It's basically a movement that initiated in Europe, as many of these environmental movements do. And essentially what it's doing is holding producers responsible for what happens with their packaging downstream. The way it's working out in the States, particularly in California, Colorado, Maine, and a couple of other states, is of course what's happening is producers are essentially being taxed for the amount of packaging they use, the type of packaging they use, as it gets all the way to the retail user. So in Europe, for example, you'll find if you buy a big TV, they'll actually unpack the TV for you before they load it or help you load it into your car, to take any of the styrofoam or any of the other plastic packaging back so that the retailer is responsible for it and they can manage it, and that helps them save some money because it's too expensive once it gets to their home to go back through a recycling process. Particularly with things that are difficult to recycle, or as, I don't know if anybody follows this, but ExxonMobil has now been sued by the state of California for claiming that plastics, particularly some plastics, are recyclable when they're not really recyclable. There aren't facilities to do it. So in Europe, there's a whole tax scheme and a whole funding scheme that's intended to fund recycling facilities, investments in recycling facilities. Anyway, it's a whole big regulatory mess. It's going to get pushed back to producers of product and then packaging businesses, of course. And the way EnviroPAK fits into it, it's actually a market driver for us because all of our product is recyclable. It's actually made of recycled paper and it's compostable and biodegradable. So we could make an argument that putting it in your backyard is in fact recycling it, so zero cost. And we do specialize in trying to replace plastics and styrofoam, EPS, and some other packaging solutions with something that's more environmentally sustainable.